Weather continues to cooperate, but we've still got a few minutes to go. So as we pass just inside T-minus 3 minutes, let's listen in to the countdown nets for the terminal count of Falcon 9 with AMOS-17.
LDCE, this is RC on countdown 1. Be advised, the range has got no go at this time. Continue with the count. We'll execute a range hold at T-minus 30 seconds if the range does not clear the issue.
No, it got stuck.
Stage 2 locks close out. Gas closeouts.
LDCE, this is RC on countdown. Be advised, we're continuing with the count. The ranges go at this time.
F9 is on startup. Stage 2 pressing for flight.
LD is go for launch.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Stage 1 pressing for flight.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
Vehicle is pitching downrange. Avionic power and telemetry nominal. Vehicle is supersonic.
Coming up on 1 minute into flight, we're getting ready for maximum dynamic pressure.
Vehicle has reached maximum aerodynamic pressure.
You've heard the call out. We're through the region of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Vehicle going supersonic as we leave the denser parts of the lower Earth's atmosphere. Falcon 9 trajectory looks good. All 9 Merlin engines are at power. Everything looking good for Falcon 9. We're heading due east from Cape Canaveral, headed to the first of 2 orbits planned for today. Nice view from the onboard camera looking back at the plume slowly expanding as we leave the atmosphere. The plume will get larger as we get out to the vacuum of space. Now today, first stage shutdown is planned for about T plus 2 minutes 45 seconds. We won't be recovering the first stage today, so that leaves more propellant to burn to achieve the required orbit for the satellite. If you compare that to last week's CRS-18 resupply flight to the space station, on that mission the first stage shut down almost half a minute sooner than today. We needed to reserve enough propellant to be able to turn the first stage and return it all the way back to the launch site. Now coming up quickly in 20 seconds, a sequence of events: main engine cutoff, the 9 main engines shut down, stage separation, and then ignition of the second stage engine coming up in just under 15 seconds.
Go.
AVI stage separation confirmed.
We've had successful ignition of the second stage engine. The Merlin Vacuum D engine is up at power. Turbine speed looks good. You can see the nozzle beginning to glow red, a tradition
Stage
for
2,
the upper
nominal
stage.
trajectory.
First stage has completed its mission. It's falling back to Earth. As we said, we won't recover it. Coming up next, fairing separation out in the vacuum of space.
AVI fairing separation confirmed. The position of signal being readable.
Nice view in the late afternoon, sun shining on the payload fairing. The second stage has separated the payload fairing around the AMOS-17 spacecraft as we're now in the vacuum of space. Right now, Merlin vacuum engine continues to be on power. Trajectory looks good. Stage 2 is right in the middle of the predicted path. Avionics reports their systems are nominal. So coming up, 4 minutes and 15 seconds mark, we are go on Falcon 9 carrying AMOS-17 to the parking orbit, the first of 2 orbits for today.
And as you can see on your screen, the stages have separated, and there we have a beautiful shot of planet Earth as the second stage nozzle is glowing gorgeous red, orange. Like I said before, this is AMOS-17, which will provide internet, phone, and secure communications to customers in the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. We're sending it to geostationary transfer orbit. And we have confirmation that second engine cutoff has occurred and that we are in good orbit. So we're about to enter an 18-minute coast phase, so we're going to take a break, but we'll leave you with an animation that shows where we are in the coast phase. We'll be back at the T+26 minute mark for a second stage relay.
Orbit insertion.
Plus 25 minutes, 47 seconds since a great liftoff of Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral. we're getting ready to reignite the MVAC-D engine you can see on your monitor. This is going to be for our second and final burn. Currently, we are chilling in the turbo pump. We're also firing settling thrusters, small nitrogen-powered thrusters, making sure that the fuel and the liquid oxygen are at the bottom of the tank in the zero-G environment. As you can see from the map, we're coming over equatorial Africa. This is the best place to do the burn to change the orbit. So burn's coming up, let's listen in. We've got good ignition, chamber pressure is on target. Now this burn is going to last about 1 minute. As you can see from the velocity counter, we're going to add about 2.6 kilometers per second. That's how much velocity we need to put into the orbit to get from the low Earth parking orbit we started from into the final geostationary transfer orbit required by the Spacecom customer. We're beginning to throttle down the second stage engine to keep G-loads on the spacecraft underneath the required levels. Getting ready for shutdown of the second stage engine.
Back shutdown.
We've got a good shutdown. Waiting for the orbit call out now.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And the guidance officer over the countdown net has called out a nominal orbit insertion. Looking at the plots, it's a really good looking orbit for the Falcon 9, still carrying the AMOS-17 spacecraft on top. So now that we're in a good orbit, we're going to be coasting for the next 4.5 minutes or so. So we're going to stop live commentary, but we'll be back at T plus 31 minutes, 30 seconds for the final event, the deployment of the AMOS-17 satellite. T plus 30 minutes, 55 seconds since liftoff. We're back a little bit early. We've got a view here from the two cameras that SpaceX manufactures and installs on the back end of the second stage, looking at the MVAC-D nozzle from both sides. Now currently we are halfway across Africa between Gabon and the Heart of Beanstalk ground stations. That's where we're getting ready to get telemetry of payload deploy. That should be coming up in about 40 seconds from now. Now currently the second stage flight computer will send a command to the separation band that clamps AMOS-17 to the Falcon 9. The band opens and small springs between the spacecraft and the second stage will open, gently pushing the satellite away from the second stage. Good view of the AMOS-17 satellite from the camera atop the second stage. Waiting for payload separation event.
AVI confirm spacecraft separation.
Always great to see the spacecraft floating away from the Falcon 9 second stage. So we've got a good deployment on time. We're in the desired orbit. And with that, we're going to bring our webcast to a close. But it's been a great webcast for the Falcon 9 team. We had a liftoff delayed 30 minutes by bad weather at the Cape. But just before we went on the air, the last of the weather rules went from red to green. The range was ready to support. We counted down and launched at 23 minutes after the hour. First stage did its job before separating. There is no recovery plan for the first stage today. It will re-enter and break up in the atmosphere. Second stage continued on with 2 great burns, first into parking orbit and then into the final orbit.
Expected losses.
Just now we saw the separation of the AMOS-17 spacecraft in the desired geostationary transfer orbit. So again, a great day for Falcon 9 and the AMOS-17 customer.
Thank you to our customer Spacecom, and also to the 45th Space Wing for range safety and the FAA for licensing today's launch. We'd also like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in. Follow our website and social media platforms for updates on the catch for the fairing hats as well as our next missions and milestones. Until next time, have a great night.